Hi, folks. Nick Tockard here with the Historical Fencing Guild. We're starting off a little early on this lovely St. Patrick's Day, and we have a good bit to talk about. Before we get into it, let's pay some bills. First and foremost, the Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by the Patreon, patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild. That information is scrolling across the bottom right there. That's the best place to get information, add points, make sure that we can communicate. I basically make programming geared towards what my patrons ask for, including, like the loveliness that was last week, suffering for your amusement. Now, we are also made possible by sales of The Simple Sword. This is my first book on the subject of sword fighting. This is the quickest, easiest, and best way to go from having never held a sword to being able to not only fight with proficiency but train others. This is sort of a magnum opus. I've got two sequel books to it: The Fighting Axe and The Simple Spear, both focusing on their relative subject matter, being these types of weapons. These books all are geared towards help you get in shape, make your own gear, understand both the live steel, sometimes the tool applications of these weapons, as well as a little slice of easy to digest history, all made in a manner of plain, simple English with no gatekeeping or problem with the assorted things. Now, this show is meant to be a resource for all the lovely people who want to have access to training but maybe can't afford it, or come from non-traditional backgrounds requiring adaptive training. My specialty is working with people with physical and mental limitations to be the hero they want to be. That's what I do. That's what we're about here. Now, let me check the comments real quick. It looks like no one's in the chat, which is really rare. We usually have a bustling chat, but that's okay. I'm going to assume that because it's St. Patrick's Day, it's a holiday. A lot of people are busy. If that is the case, and if you're missing out because it's St. Patrick's Day, I hope you'll have a wonderful time and you stay safe. I'm wearing my neck knife. It's green. That counts. I'm wearing the lovely hoodie O'Doom because it is rather brisk today, folks. Now, yes, Foxy and I are here for a little quiet today. It's because today would have been our daughter's 18th birthday. So it's a bit of a hard day for us. Well, in light of that, I will try to keep things upbeat, and we'll keep things kind of hopping, because that's what we do. We support each other. The tragedy that such a day has is felt by all who care about you, and we all have days of the year that hit us in a way. I believe in personal holidays. There's some days that are very special to us, and they may not be celebrated by anyone else, and some days that are very special for the more negative benchmark that they represent. But we're all here to help each other get better and get I'm sorry, I'm stuttering so bad. This is not like me, guys. But we're all here together to get things moving and doing well. Cindy Kep says hello. Hello, Cindy. And Kitty says Paris and I are together. So hello from both of us. Hello, Kitty and Paris. I hope you are as together as humanly possible. Today's a little mellow. I wanted to make sure see what you guys went out, and I was considering just maybe doing a light digital shop, and we can see if there's any good trainers or anything that really speaks to us as the year approaches and we can get fighting again. Now, there are some announcements that have to be made. Some of them are fairly positive. Some are a little of a bummer. For those of you who don't know, very early last week, I had a health scare. I spiked an incredibly high blood pressure, dangerously so. The top number was over 200. The bottom was over 100. This was bad berries. And I spoke to some medical professionals. Things happened around. And I'm having to make more changes faster than I necessarily wanted to. But it has taken a bit out of me. Now, I still intend to keep training. In fact, I'm more encouraged to do so. I just have to do so very, very carefully. So I want to thank the folks who are involved with, who've been so supportive in the background, and a huge thanks to Joe Bachman, who's basically pulled my pan out of the fire a couple times lately. So it is very appreciated. I know right now Joe is over in a room that is rather green, probably having an exquisite time, and I hope he does. So we're going to talk. We got to talk about accepting our limitations. I also received a call today from Peter Pidrak, who is one of my students from long ago. He was talking about having some issues with balance while drilling. And he was lamenting that he kept feeling like he needed to reach for a balance aid while he was drilling. Oh, hello, John. Haven't seen John in a while. So what we're going to do is, I'm a little behind in the comments. I'll go through that. We'll talk about balance aids in training. What can be done possibly to help with that? And not a shocker. Don't feel bad for needing one. So let's knock the rest of these comments down, and then we'll get back into some more of what's going on. I do ask that you like, share, and subscribe to this network if this is the kind of content that interests you at all. Let's see. We were joined by Hello, who said Cindy Cap, who said hello. We're in the mood. We're in the mood for love. Anyway, Paris and I are together, so hello from both of us. I am just having a delightful time picturing that, Kitty, and it's great to hear from you. I hope you're still doing rope dart stuff. Cindy Kep says, you should go get Nick's books. They come in many varieties. Amazon.com/store/Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tucker. The second /author, and then the Goop. Yes, I have a whole lot of books out, both in gaming and, of course, the Western martial arts. I've been doing some changes to my schedule, so hopefully that will actually be able to increase production. And I also have games that have been released through Lukestone Studios, and they're available currently on Indiegogo and fundmycomic.com. That would be the Hybrids, the role-playing game. But more things are coming out, and I want to revisit Big Stompy Robots properly ahead of April. Joe Bachman says, pay no attention to the man that just teleported into the back of the room. Grabs the water, drops a like, teleports back out. That's okay, Joe. You're a superhero, and we love you. Looking for a sword for my Kenku, you say. All righty. A sword for my Kenku. Now, the short and logical, because of the traditions, would be a wakizashi or a ninjata, a short sword of the proper Japanese descent from the origin of the Kenku. But I'm not sure. I could see any short, probably cutting blade. I could also see a Kenku making good work out of a moderately short leaf-bladed spear, or even just a simple puncturing spear that could be used for stabbing as you come by. Ranged weapons, of course, would be wonderful, and that is all irrelevant to me, so that's going to get muted. Okay, I see what's going on. And I need to take that off to make sure it's not straining my internet. You don't, because any creature with feathers especially you wouldn't want a very elaborate hilt. If you think the kind of hilts we were looking at last week, and if you didn't catch it, be sure to go back and check that video out after the show. It was pain, but they would risk snagging. But you also want to think in terms of lightweight, because flight is a thing. So, for a Kenku, a lightweight, possibly a small sword. Wakizashi is still a solid choice because you want to be able to do flyby attacks as a possibility. I think Kenku can fly. And if not, you still very light, very agile weapons. So small sword, most of your short swords, and a Wakizashi is really kind of on brand. A rapier could work, but it would have to be simplified because you just don't want to get caught up on risk catching your feathers on guards. So maybe a Jin. A light Jin would not be bad for a Kenku, come to think of it. Obviously, any type of throwing dagger, darts. Actually, darts would be a really neat thing because, would be beneficial because they're lightweight. Any bird builds. Have to ponder that. Don't forget to tip your host. Yes, thank you. If you are feeling like you want to express your appreciation for what I do monetarily, that can be done at paypal.me/Nicholas Talkert. I will privately thank you greatly. That's also where you go if you want to pay for commissions for art online. I'm not accepting art commissions that aren't either PayPal or something I can exchange personal, like I know you. Let's see. Yikes, stay safe out there. Virtual hugs. Yeah, I did. No one expected me to blow that kind of blood pressure. I just have to radically change my life, which does not actually affect this show very much because this is a fairly calm program for me, and the benefit of me being able to serve the community is far too high for me to write off that. Plus, my Patreon supporters pay me, and I respect that. So this would be the last program to go. Likewise with Nevermind the Furthermore, although those will be getting pretty religiously cut off at an hour on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, giving me the downtime I need. And Art Time with Nick will continue, probably staying on Saturday afternoons, because that is a very, it's a necessary chore I have to do anyway. And frankly, it's a very calm situation for me, and it's well staggered. It's in the afternoon. My Fridays are very, very busy. And going from a very busy Thursday, my long shows were Wednesday, very busy Thursday with an early start into Friday. It was just too much for me. So I cut out what would statistically be the easiest to work with. Independent creator Directory teleports back in his alter ego to drop a like. Grabs another water, teleports out. Stay hydrated, my friends. I don't want you to stay thirsty. I want you to stay hydrated. And this is the Mio water put in whatever bottle's handy. Walmart knockoff Mio. It gets me a few extra electrolytes and things. No calories, nothing unpleasant. Help Nick do fencing stuff. Patreon.com/thehistoricalconflict guild. Yes, please. Kitty, that's scary. Please take care of yourself. That's what I'm doing. I have been in the process of changing my diet for some time and slowly building back up. But I carry a tremendous amount of stress because of the necessities of my lifestyle. And I'll play it as an open book. I am the primary caregiver of a teenage autistic child with behavioral problems. And he's doing much better. It can be a lot. I have been fighting back from severe diabetic neuropathy, and within a couple of years, I lost the use of my hands, and building back up into that has been a lot of, well, just a lot, and dealing with the ramifications of not being able to do things for a long time. So it's one step at a time, dealing with that and severe anxiety, and moving on to, you have to admit your problems so that you can address your problems. It's just the simple truth. And calibrating that I'm not putting time into people who don't help others, who aren't lights, or are in places I can't go. So I've had to, turn off my messenger overnights, things like that, because there are many times where I'd go 2 or 3 days without sleep because I'd be up incredibly late messaging people, helping, people through different things. And while that's been quite some time, it did damage. And just got to build myself back up. Good morning, all. Good morning, John Miner. It is so good to see you. John Miner is an accomplished martial artist, both an open-handed. I believe his open-hand specialty is around the Hapkido family of things, as well as SCA Heavy and SCA Light. He is an armorer, a philosopher, and a bit of a practitioner. John knows a lot of things and is never hesitant to share them. Tune into the Historical Fencing Guild tonight at 7 p.m. This channel, yes. Cindy loves to do that because it's a very almost Doctor Who, Red Dwarfian. Let me announce the announcement for my show, and that's 8 p.m. Eastern for you guys. And you can see my art at deviantart.com/NickT. You'll find a very nice new picture up as I get prepped to dive back into some major projects that I will be able to work at a slow pace to build myself up here. Joe Bachman says, still hiding here for the time being. Going to try to multi-listen some between here and the other room of a St. Patrick's Day color. Wonderful. Cindy Kep invokes the chorus of one of the great battle themes of the Nick Republic, Chumbawamba's Tub Thumper. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Go another round. Let's see. Kitty says, my rope dart is always nearby, and I'm starting to help Paris do some drills against flexible weapons. It's been good so far. Excellent. I still think we could talk at least about making sure you're comfortable with the let's say 5 basic classes of weapon. And I can talk about that. If there's time, we'll get into that. If not, that'll be a whole new show. And that's fine. Well, in the book, Kenku used a rapier. Then you use a rapier. Oh, this Kenku in the book does not fly but can glide. A rapier is great, but I do think the ability for a glide-by attack might be good as well. So you may consider a Colomarche, and I may be mispronouncing, or a Bilbao. Where is my Bilbao? It's around here somewhere. When I stop looking for it, it will appear, as is its nature. Oh, no, it got moved. It got moved because I was explaining it to someone else. So... but yes, a rapier, just be careful with points of leverage and reach. Although, yes, because I remember the cover of Condemned Courier, fine book. And if you like other fine books, go to www.ckoepp.com. Yes, please go back and watch last week's show if you haven't already. Nick and I, yes, Bladed Thesis was a guest. Endured great physical pains for your enjoyment. Though some of those weapons were absolutely nightmarish. It was fun, says Paris. Good. The two of you can't appreciate artistic expression in sword form. Johnny, I love you, brother. we can appreciate it. And I can see the aesthetics, and I can go, that is BA looking. But good Lord, it would hurt. And our dear friend Thesis, if you're on the Historical Fencing Guild group list, showed an email he got, I want to say yesterday, with an ad from Bud K, of all people. And it showed the Kit Ray sword hanger plaque. And all I could think is, good Lord, even the plaque looks like it could cut you. Ah. In the book, she used a cup hilt rapier, the best rapier. I'll say it. We still have the before picture because Brasso and new leather and some work is still coming to this beastie. I don't think I can replace the end caps because I don't think I have the end caps that can be replaced. But this will be getting a full workup ahead of the demo, because if I'm demoing and I'm using steel, I will be using that. If not, I will be using the plastic rapiers, which are over there. I can go grab one, but I don't want to go off screen. Clamshell guarded short sword. That's not a bad price. Shorter sword would be preferable. I'd be wearing the costume in potentially crowded places or tight spaces on my booth. There's nothing wrong with a short rapier. You could do a shorter, smaller scaled rapier very easily, especially since you're making your own prop, I assume, and still have it look appropriate. Foxy says, sorry, I'm a bit late. I have no concept of time today. No worries. I was actually slightly late because my brother was visiting and we had played a bit of Magic and ate truly delicious Reuben sandwiches made from corned beef as part of the St. Patrick's Day celebrations. The most interesting Nick in the world. I try. Yes, Nick, I drink and I know things. Well, that is true. He can't fly, just fall with style. Well, that's certainly what I'm about, and I respect that. Kenku are neat. Not quite my species, but neat. LK Chen has 2 sword designs out. 1796 is a nice sword. And a Shamshir. Ooh, those are Shamshirs. Where is that available? No, because both those swords are out where I was training. I've got all my props where I've been using them. Are really nice light wings. I missed Reuben sandwiches and Monte Cristo sandwich. Oh God, those are great sandwiches. I'm sorry, I don't mean to torment you, Cindy. Let's see. I'm curious. So we're going to go here. We're going to go LK Chen. Whoops. If I can. Well, here we'll go. It opens up to the sparring Mao Dao because I move tab to new window. And we will move this over. And let's see if I can't get this to show you what's going on in LK Chen real quick. Boom. We'll share that. And we're starting with the sparring Miao Dao because who doesn't love a sparring Mao Dao? Although it's a $200 weapon, and that's not quite my bread and butter. So let's see. I'm making sure that that's working. Picked up some rye bread. We had ours on pumpernickel. The rye is good. I used to get really nice Monte Cristo from Walmart of all places. Yeah, I know that. That's Paris says but the Shamshir is too curved for her taste. Well, let's take a look at what we're talking about then. If you want these, I could. Oh, you should. Yeah, the Shamshir is very, very. That's appropriate, but it's the peak of how sharply curved you want. That's just a pure slashing weapon, basically. You can do a kind of whiptail thrust with it, but that is delightful. Now, 1796 is a thing of beauty. And of course, it's $410. So it's way outside of my bailiwick. It is also, do they show it sheathed? Let's see this baby. Oh, that's beautiful. That is a beautiful classic weapon with the back strap. I can make it go. Happy St. Patty's Day. Corned beef, cabbage, potatoes, carrots, celery. That's what's for dinner. No, I'm having orange chicken. Oh, it's not pizza? Well, nothing wrong with having a little orange on St. Patrick's Day either. I'm not one to complain. But apparently they're going to be coming out with new cup hilt rapiers, and I am very much in the market for a cup hilt, for the right cup hilt rapier trainer in plastics. Oh, that's surprisingly nice. I like what that's being. That's nice. Oh, that's nice too. That's the weird saber. No, I'm not. I forgot about that. Okay. Anyhow, let's see. Homemade chicken tortilla soup. That's good. Too many heartburny things in pizza. I understand that. We gotta modulate our heartburn. www.w. I need question mark click 1745. And please, 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 if you are using Purple Heart Armory, please use that link. I haven't checked the deal for the day. What? Yes, I know it's sharing to StreamYard. I expect it to. Deal of the day. View all deal of the day. I'll set that up while we're looking. That looks like something Sephiroth would use. I want it. That I've got you. Hold on, Johnny. Hold on for a second. I got you. Certainly. 1 second. No, I'm gonna need the big screen for a moment. Just give me a second. It should. Where is it? Oh, it's open. Johnny, I got you. I got you just fine. You want a little Sephiroth action? I can make that happen. Mine does not have a guard, so I got it very inexpensively. But this is my Odachi. This belongs to John Miner's hands. But I would still put a Tsuba on it. This is what Sephiroth really kind of wants. This is my Masamune. Although I'm really tempted to put a cross guard on it and go full of Vampire Hunter D. It's fun. It's almost too fun. I need better gauntlets than I use. But yes, this is my my Odachi. If you want to go Sephiroth, I could totally go. Don't confuse my love for small swords with not being able to use larger ones. John would have beaten me with a stick if I could only do that. Now, you have a question about one of the guards. Fire away. Was it on something? Let me know where it is, and I'll be happy to address that question, Paris. And Kitty, just ask. Go ahead and post it. Yeah. Holy Spear of Compensation. Where does he pull these things? The guards are nice guys, except for the one oddball who's a perpetual grouch. This bag of holding. Silly me. Let's see now. Well, while we're waiting on that question, we'll go back to PHA and we'll peruse. Can I get this? Yeah, well, you don't need to see me. I want you to have a better view. Move this. You don't see what's going on, but it makes my life easier. So those are sold out. The Chibi Fiore sets are still on. I think John would love these. If he didn't have enough rattan laying around, 1.5 by diameter, octagonal by 20 inches, just seems like really nice little. Yeah, those would be really nice little Screama sticks for John. And they're all sold out. They've been discovered. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. That is a gorgeous leather-covered face buckler. Ooh. But it weighs 6 million pounds because of all that metal. It's got to. That's just for show. That's not fitting. Okay, so nothing really impressive there. This one maybe. What gin trainer short? Okay, so we'll go because I can't. Ironically, because I'm. Let's see. We'll just do this trainer short. Yes. This one would probably work very good for you. It's $40 price range, and the sizing is 30 overall, 24. Honestly, and perhaps even tragically, that would fit me quite nice. Oh, Saturday, the 25th, John will be competing in marshalling at Better War Through Archery in Indianapolis. Cool. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to hear you're out doing such things. So it's basically one of these, but shorter, because this runs. I think this is this is about 4 inches longer, so it's 36 inches overall. That's nice as a gin and very light, but the shorter one may be more comfortable for you, Cindy Cat. And that would be easier to draw and not risk catching on the feathers. Half foot shorter. Yep. Foxy has a set of these. Oh. How do I do vom tag with larger than average breasts? Okay, so if I remember right, vom tag, give me a second, because I want to make sure it is the crossing your guard grip overhead. Oh, God, John, you know that's just pornographic for me. That 29-inch swept tilt rapier is just a thing of beauty. But tag image. Let's see if that works. Okay, let's see. I'm going to pull you out for just a second. Whoops, let's go here, because I don't want to get for somebody else's stuff. And all I need to do is see, vom tag's just high guard. So the trick is you're okay. The one to make sure that's what I'm thinking. And yes, somebody who great weapons aren't my forte per se. So I go. So what do we have here? I need something I can vom tag with. Okay. So if you are doing way up here, that your breaths shouldn't, if it's high, there shouldn't be much issue. But when my blade is near my face, I can't. Okay, well, I think there has to be adjustment, because this is a case where the position was designed for men by men. And you either have to be able to extend your elbows or replace it with a different guard. Because the rise in interference. Because a whole lot of longsword techniques don't work as well with breasts. I mean, I hate to say it, but because it can interfere at middle range quite a bit. So there are ways to fix it in the shorthand. One is simply to have a longer hilt. There's a reason why when it goes to reach weapons, a lot of women prefer pole arms over greatswords. And even if they do, you want a longer leverage at your pivot point. Because on greatsword, it's really weird because your pivot point is very often in the center. Okay. 1 second. I need a great. Oh wait! The Wonder Trainer. Just when I think I found every use for this thing, I find another. Okay, because if you're keeping it roughly half a hand apart, it's been a long time. John's gonna laugh. It's gonna cause tangles. So the longer the hilt, the more reach you have, and you can adjust in any of these web guards. That's why, again, the longer hilt aspect versus shorter, you're not as tangled up. That might be the best way to address it. I do think, again, the best thing to do whenever you're having a mechanical problem, if you can tell me what you're trying to do and send me a recording of what happens, either publicly or direct, I can scrutinize more specifically, because it's one of those, if I can see it, I can go, and I can also take that and go, okay, talk to Amanda, how would you handle it? High card, elbows away from the chest. Even larger men have issues with broad chest. Long spacing of hands usually used to compensate for the width. See, we're on the same place. So John agrees. Great to have that. Now, and boobs are great, but they can be a pain. Yes, I understand and I appreciate. I am someone who loves them all. I'm a very easy entity to appease where that subject matter is involved. Vom-tag is similar to, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that right now, but yes. And remember, I'm still more of a single-handed weapon guy than I am two-handed. I'm dual wield, but two-handed is always my jam. What it is, it's very. I keep two-handed in the place of practicality. It's where I keep my approach to essentially Joe staff. Wouldn't you agree, John? I think my style favors a Joe staff approach. Yes. Rearrange your stance for nearness of blade to torso. Now, I cannot fish links direct. It will not let me cut and paste links out of here into the direct video. But that is something we can look into later. Please post that link up on the Historical Fencing Guild, and that might be a good thing for next week, because there is something I wanted to talk about that was requested so that I can send this video to Peter. Oh. I'm using a single-hand sword but I still have issues. I use side sword or falchion. And yes, your style is a joke. That's what I thought. I got in a discussion with someone. Uh, I've had some people accuse me of being a secret Aikido student and lying this whole time. I'll never forget how strange a feeling that was. It was like a bizarro world because if I thought I had something like an accreditation in a more widely known style, I would certainly talk. Well, yes, definitely compared to bow staff, but you use a longer weapon. But I also proportionately tend towards Joe techniques versus bow techniques. Use single hand. So part you might be running into the oh, okay. Use single hand sword, but still have issues. That's because you are very busty, and with that will take a lot of angle work and a lot of precision. It's almost that's the kind of thing that to truly work on would be best to be if we did like a Facebook live stream direct if you wanted privacy or have you hop on like Thesis did and demonstrate side by side with a little preparation so that we could talk our way through it. Oh, yes. Well, yes. Plus, after a certain size, all of them try to be because they don't want bigger girls to feel comfortable in their appearance. Probably shouldn't have said that, but it's true. How? It's an article comparing stances and guards from something I love to show when people. Yes, I think I know. It sounds very familiar. I've been talking about that for years, and this conversation is actually a big part of why the Historical Fencing Guild came into being. Because the techniques used, it's like it might shock you, but the ergonomics of many Dao and many sabers aren't that far apart. And the ergonomics of many Dao and katana are definitely not that far apart. And Messer and katana, all these weapons that have evolved in different worlds still evolve for the same species with the same angles of movement. Now, some people are taller, some people are shorter, but almost everybody's elbow, if they are considered functioning, has the same range of travel. The shoulders move; they have the same targets. So I think it is a real tragedy that we allow racial and ethnic perceived divisions to separate the study of applied human physiology. And you get a lot more of what works and what doesn't in the people who seriously study like MMA. When they study broad, Ramsey Dewey in Shanghai, China, is a wonderful resource for the open hand approach. But his approach to weapons is get the heck out of there because you're going to die. And I respect that. He'd be much more eloquent and about 3 octaves lower. I'm thinking more armor level support so that will not move. And yes, containment becomes an issue, but that will help with the balance shifts. And yes, I have worked with some ladies who were of the slender and petite and rather bouncy that improper undergarments would mean their literal center of gravity could be affected by maneuvers. So you need to keep, if possible, contain the calamity that is one's mammaries and keep everything intact. We do always have to plan to armor from the skin out. And that's why I am a huge proponent of obviously male protection and support, but also of the Under Armour style heat wicking fabrics are amazing. They are literal lifesavers when heat is your enemy, and the compression can help keep everything in place. Many of us olders or those who have endured injuries should wear certain types of bracing, back braces, etc. But you have to train in the gear you're going to wear, including all the supports. Maybe next week it can come back on and we can discuss it. We'll talk about it. We'll have to see. But I do want to get into what Peter was talking about. He's talking about feeling his balance start to go when he was working through the drills. Now, first and foremost, if you're having balance issues, I have balance issues. Much of the time that I walk with the cane, it's not that my leg won't hold me, it's that I have some balance issues. They're much better than they used to be, but it's there. This is why I walk with a cane and a stick a lot of the time. That being said, there is no shame in using a balance aid, a mobility aid, while you train. If you're just getting back into it, training your upper body first with while sitting in a chair to go through the 9 basic guards is a wonderful building point. And just start there. Go slow. Get a very light SSO, sword simulating object, and go through, okay? You don't want to push yourself. You want to find how your body's going to move. Because as we age, especially men, middle-aged men tend to carry weight who are stressed in the belly. That literally pulls our center of gravity down and slightly out, much like when a pregnant woman, is with the child. Her center of gravity is literally pulled down even lower and pushed out a bit by the extra protrusion of the baby and all the supporting functions inside the belly. Bonk. Medical term that. Bonk. As we gain weight, our balance can be affected. You want to make sure your stance is actually wide enough. You don't want to be heels together. You want to be shoulder width or slightly wider. Your knees should be relaxed. Your posture should be good. These will all help. Arms slightly extended. If you find while you're going through your drills your balance is affected, put down the weapon and go through the drills again. There's also a good chance, especially for people who are used to having longer reach, that you develop the Fabris lean, where when you extend, you lean forward. So place your back against a wall and do your drills without removing your back from the wall. So take your stance and force yourself not to. This will let you know that you are leaning. And you don't want to lean because when you are learning your ranges, you will think you have farther range than you do. And then you may, in combat, not be able to do that. So back to the wall, learn yourself. It's a variant of a hot box exercise. Hot box exercises are very important because when you are training, you want to not. Okay, I fight in a lean stance. That's part of how I maintain my balance. Part of how my whole system works. We've established that my skeletal structure is mechanically different than most people. So there are some things that I have to. I do as I say, not as I do, because you don't have the set of limitations that I have to work around. But when I'm drilling, I'm not doing these long reaches. There's a temptation, shot. And a lot of people will put their whole body into that last bit of the shot because it feels very natural to make that reach. The problem is, especially if you're having balance issues, that will throw you off. So what you want to do is make sure you are anchored when you're drilling so that you're not doing that. And remember, I give you the basic drill guards, right? But there's a lot of flexibility in them because this, a high straight block is basically an incompleted shot into fifth. Okay? I can go here, it's still the same. And then it gets really weird because I can do a straight draw and not complete, and still it's turning into a fifth, but it breaks off into a type of hanging parry. Understand the flexibility once you understand where the guards are. Once you understand where they're anchored, where they're, this is where it has to be. This is where it has to be. Has to be. Then you start to learn odd tricks. And in some cases, you can do supported parries. One of the reasons why I really do prefer a single-edged weapon, ironically, despite my love of rapiers, or at least partial, is as a weaker person, being able to, pulling this guy out, the outer edge is sharpened because I'm not Royani Kenshin. The inner edge is dull. So that means I can pole arm, and I'll use very similar to half sword techniques without endangering my hand at all, because the spine of the weapon would not be sharp. So I can integrate a lot of flexibility while maintaining the support. Does that make sense? Do you see where I'm going here? Either way, doesn't matter. It flows. Okay? And understanding the flow of a weapon, especially a non-thrusting weapon, not just a thrusting weapon, will affect your guards. The fluidity is something that isn't taught and focused on much in Western tradition, but it's vital in Eastern, and the Western practitioners, especially the saber guys, and I'm not talking the Olympic saber guys who do the flick. I think that's cheating. It's how do I want to put this? It's disrespectful to the spirit of what the weapon you're training with is, and then it's metagaming. And I'm sure that will offend some people, and I am okay with that. But what you want is every motion to be fluid, to carry through. I forgot how much I love this thing. Now, this thing, if I'm sitting, it's taller than me. It's 4 foot long, 5 foot long, 4.5 foot long. It's a tank. But the grip is one of the most comfortable that I have, especially down here. And I can pivot and do everything I need on the outside with it, even though it's literally a pole arm. I mean, it's a great sword. I love it for what it is. And this is, these weird drawn close-in guards are how you deal with the weapon at extreme ranges when you have a weapon that's intended for much longer. Let's see. Got some comments while I was talking. John says the human body can only move in certain ways, and when the body movement is made aware, then the practitioner is able to overcome the restrictions of body movement. Practice makes it easier to understand those restrictions. Absolutely. And some bodies can't move in odd ways that are not to be emulated, huh, Cindy? Irony, guys. The doctor, whilst I was speaking to them, gave me, oh yeah, you also have I love my notes. Some form of generalized ADD. Literally, some form of generalized ADD. Boink. Some form of hypermobility disorder. Some form of undiagnosed hypermajority. Yes, because apparently when she moved my foot, she was like, it's not supposed to go like that. Ain't that the truth? Yep. So with people with hypermobility, they have to learn that just because a joint can move that way doesn't mean it should be permitted to. It doesn't have the stops to keep from overextending and damaging in some cases. And that's part of it. Yes, just watched some fencing competition in the last Olympics. Being a Bagua guy made the linear nature of the fights just made me, yes. And we could still talk about the circles. It's just the point of orientation in the circle is a little different. Like my shoulder should do that. No, 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 do not do that. Sometimes we have to learn limitations. For example, John, when I was first working with, I didn't teach John how to fence. I teach John how to turn his style into fencing and not kill someone. It's a little different. But he could, when we first started, with a draw cut, launch me many feet. He's very proud of this. He had to learn to control that strength, just like your flexibility should be controlled or monitored, unless you can do it in a safe way that can be reproduced consistently without doing lasting harm. No, okay. So you're saying John and I are not human and move in ways that are not supposed to occur. That sentence has so much to unpack. So we'll start. Terry is Greybore, the philosophical strangler. His arms are literally out of proportion with normal humanity. If they were any longer, his fingernails would drag on the gravel. He was made for what he does. You are a half giant, John. You are literally Hagrid. Proportionately, there are things. It's not about the movements with you. It's that you have the larger size, so the scale is different, and the strength behind it may be different. When I broke my left hip, my left foot was completely horizontal to the ground. I just sat there thinking, should my foot be doing that? Probably not. And then started to move, and ow. Exactly. Oh, God. My shoulder's been out halfway out all day because, I don't know, slept wrong. It happens. Ow. Yeah, my shoulder was removed from socket by being acquainted to a door mid-behavior with a very large, very powerful client. And then I had to reacquaint it with the socket and spend 3 hours containing said client. These things are painful, but we get by them. That's why supports. And the one thing I've not found anyone make that allows for both mobility and and containment is a good shoulder brace. I've yet to see one that allows to keep things contained because of the odd flexibility of the joint. I've heard some good things about KT tape, and I think it's kinesthetic and tension tape. I can't quite remember the term. But there are adhesives you can actually adhere to yourself that will help keep muscles and joints in place before practicing things. I would look into it. I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. Please talk to your medical professional. I don't want anyone getting the wrong idea. Now, rest, reheat, ice, rotate. It's the only way you're going to be able to do it. But getting back to the origin. Yeah, absolutely. Shapewear is great for hip support. I'm not even being facetious. If you think about where the tension is and what it's doing, it just makes sense. That's why it's a little harder with the shoulders because of the number of axes and ways a shoulder can move. I hate my body, but other than that, yeah. Oh, and that's true. Some people can't deal with ice, but we all have to find ways to adapt. I will always say, speak to a medical care professional. If you're having pain or injury, that is why, sorry, that got acquainted with a sword. That is why physical therapists exist. Because they don't make hip sleeves like they do for knees. That's like the same thing. Exactly. A lot of people wear that tape on football pitches. I don't know how much value is on the tape and how much is the guys believing it does something. I wear a variant of tape on my feet because of the fasciitis, and a few other issues that tie to my ankles, and absolutely saves my bacon when I'm really going to be overdoing it. My trainer started me on that, and my podiatrist concurred. So that's why we talk to medical professionals. Going out and buying the tape yourself is not necessarily the best idea, because anything that limits without medical can also be damaging or affect how you heal if it's applied wrong. So it really goes to talking to a doctor if you have access to such. Now, we are actually at the hour, and I'm just starting to get a bit of a headache. So, guys, I want to thank you for a lovely program. Please like, share, and subscribe to this. I will be doing as my... Oh, wait. They have it on their shoulder, lower back, and thighs. Some go mommy. See, that's the thing. If they don't know where to wear it or how to wear it, you can damage yourself. Please do your research. But it has been an hour, and I am, for pre-explained health reasons, trying to keep my streams to an hour. I start to get the headache, and the best thing I can do is say thank you guys for another wonderful program. I will be back next week. We might even have Thesis on for another episode of the Historical Fencing Guild's live stream. You can contact us through Facebook. There's a public group, the Historical Fencing Guild. Or you can go on the Patreon, and it's a little $1 a month. Help me keep the lights on and buy trainers. Other than that, guys, I will see you next week. Have a safe St. Patrick's Day. Please do not overindulge. Having fun is one thing, but you have to deal with it tomorrow. And I don't want to find out that anybody was in a gutter. Never drive intoxicated. Never drive if you think you might be intoxicated. Be safe out there, guys. I love you. So, you know the rules. Do your drills. Keep your guard up. Be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. I will see you all next week.